I rise to speak in support of the majority plank on the HIV/AIDS epidemic. I am outraged at the immorality of a president who sat idly by, refusing to say the word AIDS publicly for 6 years while thousands of my brothers and sisters got sick and died. I am frustrated with those who call me victim, stripping me of both my personal and political power. I am not a victim. I cannot think of myself as a victim and survive. I am a person with AIDS. I am your brother, son, neighbor, friend, lover. I ask each of you to personally take responsibility for eliminating the word victim from your discussion of AIDS. Do not divide the world into us and them. We must understand that we are all us. We are a people with AIDS. I ask you to actively work to eliminate discrimination against people with AIDS. I ask you to assure that adequate health care is available and affordable to persons with AIDS in every state in this country. Do not force persons with AIDS into poverty in order to receive medical assistance. I ask that affordable housing be available to people with AIDS in a timely fashion. I ask that the 2-year waiting period to be eligible for Medicare be eliminated. I ask for increased money for research and coordination to assure that information is readily available to all researchers in order to expedite the development of a vaccine and a cure. I ask that alternative treatments be available and affordable to people with AIDS. I ask that the discrimination against gays and lesbians, which has created this epidemic, be ended. I want you to know that AIDS is a life-threatening illness, but is not 100% fatal. There are already many long-term survivors. This is not denial, this is hope. Please join with me in remembering those who have died and loving those who are living. Together we can stop AIDS and live well and live long. Please support this platform. Thank you.
Our next speaker is a member of the District of Columbia City Council, Charlene Drew Jarvis. Charlene?
Mr. Chairman, the 1988 Democratic Platform drafters have promised to secure for our children a future of liberty and opportunity. Our children deserve it. We can deliver it. But we can only deliver it if every Democrat guarantees that future by his or her vote in November. You earned that vote. Use it. We Democrats honor our multicultural heritage of Africans, Greeks, Hispanics, Asians, and many others. We honor that heritage by assuring equal access to government, to employment, to housing, to business enterprise, and to every citizen, regardless of race, or of sex, or of national origin, or of religion, or of age, or of handicapping condition or orientation. These rights are without exception too precious to be jeopardized by federal judges and Justice Department officials chosen by the Republicans during the last 7 years. Why were they chosen? For their unreconstructible ideology, rather than for their respect for the rule of law. By whom were they chosen? By a Republican Party which reflects a monotonous sameness in color and culture. Mike Dukakis, Jesse Jackson, and the Democratic Party appreciate diversity. Women and all good Democrats We must work for the adoption of the Equal Rights Amendment to the Constitution, for the fundamental right of reproductive choice regardless of the ability to pay. We must rebuild our rusty civil rights enforcement machinery and legal services to the poor. We must protect the voting rights of all citizens, including citizens of the District of Columbia, who continue to fight the battle of taxation without representation. We must erase once and for all the lingering effects of past discrimination by affirmative action, including goals, timetables, and procurement set-asides. We must be willing to recognize in our trade laws that workers' rights are important human rights abroad as well. Our government can set the standard at home. Our nation, with all of its diversity, can and should set the standard abroad. Then and only then may we, the greatest nation on earth, be the example for civil and human rights.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jarvis. Our final speaker on this amendatory process is the Vice President of the North American Farm Alliance. His name is Roger Allison from Missouri.
I rise as a family farmer and Jackson Platform Committee member to heartily endorse our party's plank on food and agriculture. This plank speaks to the need for choosing a new direction, a democratic direction. We need higher prices for farmers, not lower. We need supply management, not the insecurity of going from feast to famine. This year's drought will be a hard lesson that abundance is a blessing, not a curse. The disastrous policies of the Reagan administration have worsened the present and potential impacts of this drought. We need a new direction to protect farmers and consumers. We choose more diversified family farms, not more corporate farms. We choose returning farmers to the land and affirmative action for minority and beginning farmers. The whole world is looking to us to lead the international community with a sane agricultural policy that promotes trade peace, not trade wars. Our new direction points to the method of change championed by the Reverend Jesse Jackson, bringing folks together, rural producers and urban consumers for a new hope in our land. Thank you.
Fellow delegates, at this point, the Platform Committee has concluded consideration of the minority reports, the amendment process, and general debate. Fellow delegates, I have not had the opportunity to talk about how proud we are of our Democratic governors. You'll hear a lot about that tonight, tomorrow, and the next night. But I can tell you that our host governor is certainly no exception. Our host governor of this great state of Georgia has been a leader in economic development, in quality education, and he's also been a winner. He's a winner. In the last election, the governor of the great state of Georgia, a Democrat of course, was reelected with 71% of the vote, and he carried every single of the state's 159 counties. He's the kind of winner that is not only building opportunity for Georgians, but will help us carry the presidential election this fall. I give you our host state governor and his wife, the Honorable Joe Frank Harris and Elizabeth Harris.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is certainly an honor and a privilege for me to welcome you to the great state of Georgia, to the beautiful city of Atlanta, and to the first national political convention ever in our state. On behalf of the over 6 million citizens of Georgia, I extend to you a hand of friendship and fellowship. We've been excited about your arrival for many months, and hundreds of Georgians have been involved in preparing for this history-making occasion. We've cleaned up, we've fixed up, we've painted and we've planted. We've built and rebuilt and rolled out the red carpet from one end of the state to the other. Our goal has been to put our best foot forward to assure you the warmest of welcomes and a most pleasant stay while you're in our state. For many of you, this may be your first visit to our state and our capital city, and I'm sure that among the millions watching on worldwide television, there will be some experiencing the South for the very first time. We welcome that scrutiny that will be provided by the over 15,000 media representatives attending this convention. Georgia has a rich heritage and a proud past. We have sights and scenery that match the beauty to be found anywhere in the country. We have the finest in cultural opportunities, comforts, and attractions, and I hope your schedule provides you with time to experience many of them, along with our Southern hospitality. I'm extremely proud of Georgia's progress in education, our progress in economic development, the influx of international investment, our commitment to research and improving the quality of life all across our state. However, the one thing that I think is the most important and the most outstanding is our people. We're proud of the people of Georgia. Georgians are hardworking, family-oriented, and respectful of tradition. When we give our word, you can take it to the bank. We're mindful of the hard road we've hoed and how far we've come. And at the same time, we're optimistic and enthusiastic about the future because God has truly blessed us and blessed our state. We know the value of setting goals, of working hard to achieve them, and the thrill of victory when those goals are reached. We believe in teamwork and cooperation, and we work hard to avoid conflict and confrontation. Your having selected Atlanta and Georgia as the site for the 1988 convention has paid us a high compliment. The decision is a tribute to the team spirit and the cooperative effort put forth by the people of our state. We're grateful for your confidence in our ability to host the nominating convention for the next President of the United States, Governor Michael Dukakis. And I assure you that we will be working hard not only to ensure that election, but to ensure your comfort, your security, and the success of this convention. May God bless each one of you, and may God continue to bless our America. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next distinguished guest to bring brief remarks to this convention is a young man that served in the State House with distinction. He's on his way to the United States Senate from, guess where? The great state of Nebraska. Let's hear it for former Governor and the future Senator Bob Kerrey.
Mr. Chairman, fellow delegates, I'm sure it's not a surprise to you to know that there is a drought in the Midwest. This drought means that our crops will not grow to maturity, that our plants will not become our food. There is a surplus that hung heavy a few months ago over our farmers that has now become an inventory, and planters are worrying that that inventory may not be enough. Prices have risen, gross national product has decreased in the nation, and the smart people of this country have grown silent about our subsidies being too high. There's a drought in the Midwest, and there's a glimmer of memory that says to all of us that we should conserve, that we should prepare, that we should store our water for tomorrow. It is just a glimmer because there are still smart people who are saying to us that there cannot be two droughts in a row. And as a candidate for the United States Senate, I am pleased and proud that the federal government moved to act to provide assistance to individual farmers who are facing financial disaster. We sense their terrible loss when we see the withered crops that are in their fields. Many of these families were just getting back on their feet after the recession of the 1980s. And the wait-and-see attitude that was projected by the Reagan administration was unacceptable. We should indeed be careful to provide the assistance where it is most needed, and we should be careful to provide assistance toward those who will experience a financial disaster without it. Congress has moved quickly, and the President has indicated that he as well will sign this bill when it is presented to him. Make no mistake about it. Farm families will be helped by this assistance. They will remain and grow as an important part of America's rural communities, and much of the destruction of this drought will be made bearable. But in America today, there are other droughts that need our attention. And the most obvious of all to me is the drought of political will that keeps pushing this nation deeper and deeper into debt. There is a drought when budget deficits stifle the economic health and growth of our great country. And I believe we should commit ourselves to ending that drought as well. And there's a drought which exists in the lives of 69,000 children in Nebraska and 13 million nationwide who live in poverty. Is there any doubt that disaster awaits many of them as well? And is there any doubt that their chances of growing into their full potential has been diminished by malnutrition, poor health care, and broken homes? Let us commit ourselves to ending that drought as well. And what about the drought which exists in our public schools, where overworked teachers struggle against nearly impossible workloads to enable our children to learn all that they can? Is there any doubt that we can do much more to improve their performance? Let us commit ourselves to ending that drought as well. And what about the drought which exists in housing and health care, where too many Americans are living now in a world of economic disaster? Is there any doubt that their hope and their future is seriously impaired by conditions that they face? The drought is an absence of nourishment. It is an environment where growth simply is not possible, where drugs terrorize the lives of our people into submission, where homelessness and hunger prevail over hope and prosperity. It is a condition that is faced by many people in this country, including our farmers, and I thank you for responding to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, last evening we called the roll of some great and valiant warriors in the campaign of 1988. Tonight I'd like to acknowledge one of those warriors. He's from the great state of Tennessee. He bears the name of a distinguished father. He's an enlightened man with a great future, and he stands for the best in the Democratic Party of the United States. Let's hear it for Senator Al Gore and his wife, Tipper. Well deserved. In the Democratic Party, sometimes, like in that family, the blood runs thick with a Democratic heritage. There is a young man who served as the Attorney General of the great state of Minnesota who bears one of those famous names. He also is following in the great footsteps of his father before him. He's the fighting Attorney General, and he's the next United States Senator from the state of Minnesota, Honorable Hubert H. Skip Humphrey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you particularly from Minnesota. My friends, I have a report from the heartland of America. A farmer in Moorhead, Minnesota, is barely holding on, fighting not just bad weather, but a bad farm policy. A working couple in St. Paul needs child care for their children, and an elderly man in Mankato long-term care for illness. A high school graduate in Rochester needing financial aid for college. And a steel worker in Duluth, a trade policy that protects American jobs. These are the people that make up our country and our party. They're not the rich, they're not the privileged. They're the many hard-working Americans who want and expect a government that works for them and cares about them. The Republicans George Bush and my opponent Dave Durenberger have lost their way. They promised no new taxes, but have raised taxes in 5 of the last 7 years. They have left an economic legacy of debt that surpasses all previous administrations combined. They've undermined our foreign policy, crippled our health care system, threatened the foundation of Social Security, and turned their back on stopping unfair foreign trade. And if that's not enough, just look at what the Republicans and George Bush have added to the English language. Junk bonds, Iran-gate, Contra aid, the safety net, WedTech. You know, in Minnesota, the people have had enough. Now, our party has gone through some tough times. I know because I've seen them firsthand. But today, we're stronger than ever. Here in Atlanta, the Democrats are set for a new beginning and new leadership for America. I believe there is something that ties all Democrats together. Our party wants to change the priorities in Washington. It's our party that is the optimistic party about America's future, that believes we don't simply have to survive as a nation, we must excel. I believe the voters will choose the future this November. They will choose to change our priorities and put this country back on track. And they will choose Democrats because for us, people still count. Thank you.
I want to turn this gavel over to a co-chair whom you elected last night. So join me in welcoming to this podium to preside a young woman who has spent 10 years in city government. She's met the voters where they live. She's worked with the problems where they are. Welcome, please, the co-chair of our convention, the mayor of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, Lottie Shackelford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm honored to be here in Atlanta, serving the party of the people. This is my 3rd Democratic convention, and each one gets better and better. I came here today with over 170 of the most enthusiastic Democrats in America, the Arkansas delegation. We are here to usher in a new age of strength and unity. We are ready, the nation is ready, and we are all fighting hard because we are certainly ready for a Mike Dukakis, Lloyd Bentsen, Jesse Jackson united front. Our platform committee only meets every 4 years, but the Democratic Party at every level is implementing the party platform every day in city councils, county commissions, state legislatures, and state capitals across America, reinvesting in its people. And now I'd like to bring to you one of the Democratic Party's rising stars. Few have shown as much promise as Tony Coelho. So I am especially honored to introduce to you The next speaker, he's young, he's progressive, he represents the new Democratic Party in the New West. Let's have a big cheer for California's Congressman Tony Coelho.